Hi and welcome. I'm Bill Say. Today I want to talk about a really exciting, really important area of diversity awareness, and this has to do with identity and other. Let me start with identity. I think I'll focus most of the talk here on identity, and then in a later video start to look at other. So identity can be individual identity, that's you or me, or it could be a collective identity. Who are we? So that question, who are we? Who am I? Starts to bring in the different components of identity. Now, there's gender, there's race and ethnicity, there's age and generational components, there's religion, political view, educational background, life experience. There's a lot of things. And I would also include things that are really invisible that somehow give me a sense of who I am. There may be stylistic things in how I think about things, how I communicate, how I relate, that somehow give me more of that flavor of me. You may also look at different perspectives that people hold, philosophies, world views, all these components that somehow contribute to a sense of self, again, whether individual or collective. So in this overall awareness process, I'll call it diversity awareness, one big piece is the question, and it could be an ongoing question. We start to look at a deeper and deeper level at this whole identity thing. Who am I? Who are we? What are the different components? And how do those different components influence how I think about things? How I can move through the world? How accepted am I within a given setting or in a society at large? Because those different components, even the few that I named, will tend, you may or may not agree with this, but will tend to either have a person feeling relatively included, accepted, supported within a given social group, or relatively marginal and experiencing lesser privilege, fewer privileges, less power, for example. So it's a huge thing, identity, the components of identity, and I really invite you. You want to grow your diversity awareness, you can sit down and consider, stand up and consider, what are the different things that make you you? And how do those different components come out in different settings? You may notice, for example, in a family or social setting, there's a part of you that emerges more freely and influences how you interact, how you feel, how you see things. But maybe in a different setting, for example, at work, you notice that it's a different part of you that emerges. Maybe it's an intellectual part of you, or it's a part of you that's more like the managing type person. Yeah, it could be a particular trait that you have cultivated that comes out in a given situation. And by starting to notice these different parts of self, one, we notice how we actually do influence others. Because sometimes a greater awareness of that influential, of our influential powers rather, can really help us be more effective. Some of us influence others, we don't think about it so much, and it's not a problem at all. Others, and myself included in certain moments, we're not aware enough of how we influence people, and sometimes we do so without enough sensitivity. And we can step on toes and start to disturb relationships. This is a big factor. How we gain rank in a given setting. And identity, a real thorough analysis of our own identity can help us understand our relative power. It can also help us understand if we're not feeling supported and included or empowered in a given setting or generally. So it's a great subject to focus upon. I invite you there. I'm just going to touch upon this again because the linkage is important between identity and other. So if we or I have started to identify and formulate an identity over a course of time, almost automatically, seems like it's a pretty natural human thing, I've started to form others. For example, if I have developed an identity that's partially about being politically progressive, for example, I may have started to also form a certain relationship to political views that seem less than progressive, more conservative, for example. Yeah? Or if I am a type of person who has developed an identity that's very associated with hard work, I may have started to develop an other kind of a personality that I may have a harder time understanding, that's not so hardworking, that's more easygoing, etc., etc. I think you get what I'm talking about. So if we're thinking about diversity awareness that creates more community, includes more diversity, then it's important to really claim and support who we are, really back ourselves, believe in ourselves, love ourselves. Really important. And for that overall sense of community, start to understand, who are these others? Can I talk to them? Can I try to understand why they think the way they do? I don't understand them. Yeah? So I'm going to get into that more in another video. But for now, I encourage you, if you've ever thought, do I know myself well enough? Or am I partially a mystery, even to myself? Get to know yourself, explore it, and also look at how your different aspects of identity contribute to rank. If you have any questions about it, put them in the comment box. I'll try to respond to them as best as I can, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.